Mould growth investigations, take one.
Hello and welcome back to BBC, and we're going to do a year science experiment today, and it's going to be investigating mould growth. So this is a really exciting experiment. It does take a bit of time though, so this is going to be week 0 and we're going to be looking at this over 3 weeks. Now, to investigate the mould growth, I first of all need some bread, and I'm going to use 3 different types. So here we have some light rye bread, we've got some white bread, and I've also got some yeast-free flatbread. Now this is all sort of got yeast in. So what we're looking at during this experiment is the growth of microorganisms and what sort of also accelerates them. So I'm going to be putting them in 3 different conditions. So we're going to have some which is dry, and then I'm going to be adding water to it. So we're going to find out over a period of time, we're going to be looking at it and finding out what happens with the dry bread, what happens with the wet bread for each of the 3 different types. We're also going to put it in different conditions. So I have here some that I prepared earlier. This is white bread. We're putting this one in sunlight, dry. So we're doing that for each of the 3. So I've got white bread, rye bread, flat bread, all in sunlight. We're going to put them in bags first of all. So that's just to make sure there's no external microorganisms that actually will act on them over the time. So we've got it's sealed and it's contained, and we're also going to actually double bag each of these. So that makes sure that if anything does grow on them, that we keep safe as well and nothing toxic can escape. So as I say, we've got sunlight and we're putting some in dry. And the next one we're going to do is we're going to put them in cupboard. So 1 lot in the cupboard, 1 lot in the fridge. Then we're going to do exactly the same experiment, but this time we are actually have sprayed the bread with water. So it's exactly the same. We've got white, rye, and we've got flat bread. We're putting that in the bag. We're sealing it, just like so. We're going to put 1 out in the sunlight. We're going to put 1 in the cupboard, and we're going to put, there you go, just make sure it's good seal, flat bread, and we're going to put 1 in the fridge. So we're going to observe what happens over that period of time. We're going to record, and we're going to analyse our experiments. So this is for the year 6 investigation. Now, if you were going to do an investigation on microorganisms in a laboratory situation, if you're one day working in a lab, what you might do is you would potentially use bread, because you want to see how effective your bread is at handling microorganisms. But you'd also test what sort of microorganisms through maybe using a petri dish, getting some agar nutrient solution, which is actually to enhance microorganism growth, and then you do what we call inoculate. So you actually spread some of the bacteria. So if we wanted to find out if something grew on one of these, we could test it and we could find out what actually would grow on there. And you can put different nutrient solutions to actually find out which one would grow. So that's if anyone wants to become a microbiologist when they're older. So in the meantime, we're going to take our dry bread under different conditions and our wet bread, and we are going to see what happens in week 1 next week, same time. See you then.